The reason why I'm here is looking at who I am, and that with Swami I will have the best chance. I found out for myself.
And can you actually feel yourself growing over the years?
No, I don't think so. I think sometimes I think I'm even worse than before I ever came. I don't know why. I think Swami is making loose so many things which were always hidden before. No? He puts light in there, in me. And because of that light, all the darkness comes to the surface. That's what I think. And I get pretty bad. I feel he called me without me knowing who he was.
How did you know where to go?
I didn't in the beginning. The first time I got to see him was in a dream, 2 nights on a row. This same man walks into my dream. And in the dream he says, I want you to come out of your house. I want you to come with me to the light. I never forgot the dreams.
You never forgot the dreams?
They were so impressive because for me, it was not so much the man as what came out of his eyes. And that was pure love for me. Suddenly I had a name on the man from the dream with the bushy hair. I never had a name on him. I didn't even know that man existed. And then when I got to know who he was, what he was standing for, what he was teaching or trying to teach the world, I thought, that's it. That's where I want to be, because this is what I've been looking for all my life. I find it pretty beautiful to get now and again a little glimpse of what's really there.
Do you ever wonder what it's going to be like when you shed the jacket?
Yeah.
Do you think
he allowed me to see it.
Oh, tell us about that.
The dream, in the beginning, I told you, in reality, he made me experience that with a near-death experience.
She's been a friend of Souljourns for many years, and she's been coming to Sai Baba's ashram, where she now lives, since 1992. Maria Hopp, a nurse from the Netherlands, has worked for years full-time at Sai Baba's General Hospital in Puttaparthi. Welcome to Souljourns. This interview was recorded at Prashanthi Nilayam in 2004.
Maria, thank you very much for joining us today. What brought you to Sai Baba?
I'm not quite sure what brought me there. It's more, I feel he called me without me knowing who he was.
How did you know where to go?
I didn't in the beginning. The first time I got to see him was in a dream, 2 nights on a row. This same man walks into my dream. And in the dream he says, I want you to come out of your house. I want you to come with me to the light.
Were you in the Netherlands at the time?
No, I was in Denmark.
You were in Denmark. What were you doing there?
Living with my ex-husband.
And did you have a job?
Yeah, I had a job.
Were you happy?
Yeah.
So why do you think he wanted to take you from someplace that was happy?
Because there where he wanted to take me, I think it was better than where I was.
So he wanted you to go from happy to happier.
Who knows?
How did you recognize who he was after seeing him in your dreams twice? How did you know what to do with this image?
I didn't find out until 4 years later when I recognized the photo on a book.
And where did you see this book?
In Holland.
There aren't too many Sai Baba books floating around just randomly.
No, a friend of mine had a book.
And
I visited her and the book was laying on the table. So
in the meantime, in that 4-year interval, had Sai Baba appeared to you any more than those 2 times?
Later on I have found out he has even taken me really there.
But
where he wanted to take me in the dream.
What I'm amazed at is that in 4 years you only saw Sai Baba in your dreams a couple of times. How did you remember who he was to recognize him on the book when you saw him on the book?
How I recognized? I never forgot the dreams.
You never forgot the dreams?
They were so impressive because for me it was not so much the man as what came out of his eyes. And that was pure love for me.
And was it just a look? Did you see something more than just his gaze, light, or did it just make you feel
in the
good?
dream he took me to the light.
What was that like?
That I have no words for. Not at all. I cannot express what that was like.
Any idea why it took you 4 years to put 2 and 2 together and find out that this was Sai Baba?
I have no idea why it took him that time. I only know that every 2 years something happened.
And once you saw your friend's book, recognized his picture, that's the guy who came to me in my dream.
Correct.
How did you feel? What did you do?
I got excited. Because she was telling he was a guru in India. I hadn't the faintest idea about a guru or what they were doing or...
Did you have a religion that you were practicing at the time?
Nothing.
Were you raised in any religion?
I was only interested in spirituality.
And what form of spirituality did you study or practice before Baba started to come into your dreams?
Nothing. I don't think I ever did before. I was just interested in what they call the New Age movement.
Okay. So the trees and the universe and everything.
Nature.
Nature, yeah.
Exercises.
So here comes Sai Baba. Here's this book that identifies who he is. You start doing cartwheels inside your heart. What did you do then to further your understanding of this person?
I took the book home. As the friend told me, I think you need to read this book.
Do you remember the name of the book?
I don't.
Okay. And did you read it?
I have forgotten. And the most amazing thing happened when I had the book.
Your necklace over to the right. There you go. All right.
I installed myself really nicely in the bed.
To read the whole book?
To read the whole book. And the most amazing thing started happening on the third, fourth page. Suddenly, I'm not reading the book anymore. The book is speaking to me whatever my eyes are seeing.
I'm not sure if I understand what that means.
Me neither.
So put it another way. Explain it using other words. How's the book reading itself to you?
I can hear the voice telling. No? So the book is talking to me. It's telling me a lot of things. And I never put the book away. The only thing I know is that I knew, and now I have come home.
You felt that totally as soon as you got there.
As soon as I read what I read and heard what I heard.
Then what did you do next?
I just cried.
Isn't that nice?
There's nothing else.
Did you share this newfound
No,
love with anybody?
I was all on my own at that time. But a couple of days later, after I got kind of munched through what was happening, I shared it with some of the people.
And what year more or less was the first dream you had? 4 years before?
86.
So from 86 forward, you've been aware of Sai Baba, if not by name?
No, nothing. I hadn't a clue who this man in the dream was. I only found that out when I got the book.
Did you ever have dreams like this before? Are you a mystical person or a sensitive person?
Very sensitive. I've been all my life. Kind of talking with nature and...
But you never had any guru or saints or
Never.
Jesus or anybody talk to you before?
I think as a child I had Mother Mary and Jesus as very good friends. But that was normal. That was nothing special.
Okay, so then what did you do?
What
you
did
went
I
home
do?
and you cried, and you read the book, and you discovered Baba was speaking to you from the pages.
Suddenly I had a name on the man from the dream with the bushy hair. I never had a name on him. I didn't even know that man existed. And then when I got to know who he was, what he was standing for, what he was teaching or trying to teach the world, I thought, that's it. That's where I want to be, because this is what I've been looking for all my life.
And did you come to India then?
Not yet. He wanted me to do something else, I find out later. Suddenly, out of the blue, I get contact with a woman who wants to start a Sai Baba group.
In Amsterdam.
I said, in Breda.
Okay.
And then I didn't know what that was. So she explained everything. She had been in India and come back.
Now how did she know to come to your door and contact
Don't
you?
ask me, because I don't know. I just meet this lady.
Now many years later, what do you think happened? Did Baba guide her there, tell her to go rap on this door?
As he guides everything, there's no other way than to explain it. No.
So you formed the Baba group.
Yeah, we started a Baba group.
Two
We
people.
started 3 people. We were 3 ladies And for half a year, religiously, every week we practiced singing bhajan.
That must have been hard
Then
to do.
after, no, that was fun. Then after half a year, we decided now we are going to make it a real bhajan evening. We sat on the floor, we had the candles, we had the incense, we had the flowers.
Picture of Sai Baba.
Nice picture, and we did everything as a bhajan evening should be done.
Did you sing
with
in
all the
Dutch?
mantras? No, we sang in Sanskrit.
Wow, I'm impressed. Okay, so you've got your wonderful little group of 3 women going, and who was the first person to raise their hand and say, let's go to India?
I didn't until one day I'm sitting with another friend, not doing anything particular, just sitting, just sitting, like I'm sitting right now, and I wouldn't speak, I'll just quiet. Suddenly this most amazing little thing happens. It's a big thing happening actually, but the feeling at that time was like 2 small, tiny little golden doors are opening here. And this voice comes out and says, and now you are coming to India.
Oh, what did you make of that?
I thought, that's fun, I'm going.
Did you have too many Heinekens?
No,
You knew it was for real.
I
This
just knew
voice.
that was correct.
Yeah.
I went straight to the travel agent
Bought a
and
ticket?
found out how do I get to Puttaparthi. And 3 months later, through whoever, I get to know a group is going. So I ring these people from that samiti and say, I want to come with you. No, you can't come. We only want 20 in the group and you are number 21.
That's
But you
unfair.
can come anyway to that Sunday meeting. Then you can see what it's like.
And what happened?
And I
then?
went, and sure enough, one had called off, and there was a space for me. So I came to India for the first time in '92.
And let's fast forward a couple of weeks, a couple of months, to the first minute you laid eyes on Sai Baba. Tell me about that experience.
We set token with token number 1 on the first row. And the only thing as I see Swami coming out of the mandir at that time still was, oh, how small you are, we better look after you. That's the only thing I could think of. Then he comes walking straight to where this group of us is sitting. And about 10 meters away from me, I had to ask inside, and now you stop, don't come any closer. I don't know what's happening, but I can't bear this energy. And he stopped.
You told him not to come any closer because it was
Yeah,
too much
I could
for
not
you.
bear it. I was getting very uncomfortable, hot and nervous, and
I don't
my
think
my system could not bear
I
it.
don't think I've ever heard anybody say that before, that they didn't want him to come any closer to.
I did, because I could not bear it.
So I take it was a good experience.
Very good.
And did he come to you anymore in your dreams?
Yeah, many times.
Many times. And how long did you stay there? A couple of weeks?
We were going to be there 3 weeks, and when it was time to go, I thought, I'm not going. I'm staying. So I told the group, I'm not going home with you. I'm going to get my ticket extended. I'm going to stay
And go home by yourself.
and go home alone.
Very brave woman.
That I don't know, but I stayed. And the day after they left, I got my first interview.
The day after. And what did he say to you?
What did he say to me? He invited us to ask a question. And my question to him was, as I had the day before broken my toe, why did I have to break my toe? I'm going to tell you later, he said. The second thing was, when I get back to Holland and life is getting difficult, will you send me strength? He looked at me and he said, I'm going to send you strength.
And did he?
3 months later he did.
You needed
When
it?
it was rough at home for me, one evening I went to bed and I was upset and I was not feeling well at all, and I thought, I asked him to send me some strength. That same night when I was in the bed, looking at the picture on the wall of Swami, which is a full picture, but not full size, but the full picture of Swami. Suddenly out of his feet, these two light beams are coming. And they are entering my feet.
You could see the light beams.
Yeah, I could see. And they enter, I could feel this enter, up to about here.
Did that shock you?
No, not at all.
Did it scare you?
Never. Anything has scared me, what happened with Swami. Never.
Okay, let's fast forward a couple of years. When did you decide you were going to start doing seva for Baba? I think here in the hospital in Vrindavan?
No, not in Vrindavan anymore, now in Puttaparthi.
You're in Puttaparthi, the general hospital?
Yeah.
This is before the super specialty was built. What's your background? What did you know what to do as far as going to the hospital?
I don't know my background, maybe because I've done 12 years in Africa also.
Doing what?
Nursing.
So you were a nurse, and
Yeah.
you thought if you came here, you might be able to do seva as a nurse. In
I felt like I would like to do that, but it was more a question of my organization at home.
And what happened?
I came with the question from Holland to India. Would Holland be allowed to kind of adopt the Whitefield Hospital to do the cleaning on a permanent basis?
What do you mean by that?
I
for
didn't
cleaning?
even think of nursing at all.
Oh, you were just going to clean the place.
We were just going to clean it on a permanent basis.
Why wouldn't you have thought of nursing since it's a hospital and
I
you're a
didn't.
nurse?
I didn't even think that we as foreigners would be allowed to do.
So what was the answer?
When I finally got through the tape, where you have to go
The
through,
red tape.
I got to the hospital on the day they were saying you can start. Swami had given the green light. This director was saying, I don't want you to clean the place, I want you to the theater.
In
So
the
I
operating
came in the
theater.
operating theater. So I got there, go and start.
So you started to assist in operations as a nurse.
Yeah.
That must have made you feel pretty good.
Yeah, it was nice.
No salary.
No.
Did they give you any food or accommodations?
No.
You must be very wealthy.
No. Not at all. Maybe in the terms of Indian people, yes, but not in our European terms, no?
How long did you stay doing that?
7 years.
How did you afford to stay?
Because from at home I had a pension.
So
I
you could live on your pension,
easily, in India, easily.
and you've been here ever since.
Ever. In the beginning, the first couple of years, off and on, I would go back and come. Now maybe every 2 or 3 years I will go.
So where's your home today?
Home is actually here,
Okay.
but with Swami.
Okay, so wherever
So
Swami
now
is-
it feels Puttaparthi is home.
No, right now it's Vrindavan's home.
That is because we are here, but Puttaparthi has become since long time back home.
Probably there will be a few people who see this who will be brand new to Swami, brand
Yeah.
new to Sai Baba. And they may say to themselves, boy, that's a far-fetched story. That's really out of this world. How could this person appear in dreams 4 years later, have a book, identify who he is? That's just a real stretch. Yet she seems very credible and she seems to love Sai Baba. What can you tell people who are new, who have an openness to learn about Baba, but don't know much about him, but are eager to find out how to begin learning about Baba? Those are the people I'm interested in. People who are potentially going to be here doing what you're doing someday.
How they should go about?
What would you say
As
to them? What would you say to them if they said, I like what you have, I don't have it, how do I get some of that?
I guess the first requirement is to be interested in finding out who you are and knowing that there are some big masters in the world who will help you with that. And then try and get there.
Well, let's say this person said, well, then how would you describe Sai Baba? Is he a big master or what is he?
For me, he's God. Represents everything where I would put the word good in front.
In spite of whenever he may have seemed to get angry at people, in spite of whenever he may have stories on the internet about him, doesn't make any difference to you. He is God.
He's God. Nothing can shake that.
And what constitutes that core belief of yours? Where did that all come from? Just a gradual, slow growth? Or
by the experiences he has given me.
any experiences leap to your thought system right now that might be better than
The
others?
very first one, I can just see it now. I was the first week in India and I was sore like anything. My back was hurting, my bum was hurting, the food was hot, the weather was hot. I was very uncomfortable. So I was sitting there one afternoon in the darshan line and I thought, I'm going home. This is nothing for me. I can't make contact with Swami really very good. I don't know who he is. So I'm sitting there working up myself, getting more and more angry, and I'm sitting in the back. That time the small arches were in the back. I'm sitting with my back against the arches there. And as Swami is giving darshan, about 60 lines of people ahead of me, he's walking there. Somehow, suddenly this thought comes through my mind, who the hell are you anyway? And I actually got a fright that I was so forceful with that. At the moment I'm having this thought, Swami is standing lifelong in front of me.
How did he get there?
I don't know, I can just see him standing there. And he puts out his hand and says, I am you and you are me. As if a sluice is opening, and I start crying like anything, and I think I've never stopped crying for many years. So I don't know really what happened there, but something opened.
Well, that was quite an experience.
That was a very heavy experience and beautiful also, because he walks on as if he turns his head towards me and says, I really did that. That was really fun.
Tell me another one.
Let me think, another one. Let's just talk, it will pop up.
Okay. The operating room?
One day, a friend of mine and myself, we also do Reiki. If any of the alternative nursing parts are there, we would do Reiki.
And that's okay with
Even in the hospital, and that was okay with the doctors also.
Good.
So one day a patient is complaining very badly about a leg, she can't move. So I just said to her, okay, shall we do Reiki? And she wasn't quite sure maybe what it was or whatever it was I offered. And she didn't say no, she didn't say yes, it was kind of...
Up to you.
So I did. That night I could sense Swami.
After you did it.
When I was at home in my room and I was doing my prayers, I'm sitting in front of Swami's photo and I can sense Swami is there.
With
and
you.
I kind of really tune in and think, I must catch what he's going to tell me. And then he makes my mind go with him and he takes me back to the hospital. And we stand next to this same patient. And he says, it is not enough when you want to do this and you pray for healing. You have to tell the patients they also have to pray to whatever God they believe in. It will reach me. And then when those two are coming together, then the healing will happen. So I thought, wow, Swami, myriad, I had forgotten this. So the next day I went to this girl and I said to her, Swami has told me that close your eyes whilst I'm putting my hands on you and you pray to whoever you believe in. And you pray and ask for healing. I'm making my prayer to Swami and ask for his healing energy. And see, let's see what happens. After that session, I was going to Puttaparthi for 2 days. When I came back, the doctor was telling me, that girl looks very happy. I said, how? She's not with pain anymore. So I told him, I've done Reiki on that girl. He said, then I understand why she's feeling better like that. So all the time, small things were there. Another time we were doing a very difficult cesarean section. And I just, without thinking, cried out for Swami inside me. There's this huge photo of Swami in the theater itself. Suddenly around his head this big light is there.
Anybody else see it but you?
I kept quiet, I wasn't telling anybody. We were busy doing the work. The only thing I knew was at that moment everything will be all right. And it turned out to be all right after that.
So you're quite a mystical person.
That I don't know.
Well, I don't see any
For me,
light
it
coming
doesn't
from Swami's
feel-
feet, and I don't see any light coming from around a picture on the wall of Baba. I wish I did.
Yeah. I very often feel very grateful. And when I think of the things happening, the only thing what happens with me is I'm getting very still inside.
That's good.
And that feels very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you ever going to retire?
No.
What's the worst?
As long as Swami lets me work, I will work.
What are the negatives? What's the worst things about living here and working and being in a different culture?
The worst thing for me, I think, is not being able, first of all, to communicate with the population easily, because that would bring an extra dimension, I think, if I could really speak to the people.
Do you ever ask Baba to help you do that?
Yeah, but I should have time to learn the language then, you know? And not only the language, that takes a while. It's what the people represent from India that I want to get to know.
I feel like I want to ask you if you've ever seen people come into Baba's fold and then leave Baba's fold,
Yeah.
and if you've ever been able to make sense out of it or wonder what's going on with them.
I've spoken to 2 people who came and went because it was terrible for them. And what that really means, I don't know.
Part of their process.
The only thing I feel is, how sad you didn't get out of it what I have been allowed to experience and become rich inside.
And how about friends, family members, neighbors, and back home in the Netherlands who know that Maria has lost her marbles and she's living here in India following a guru, and it's too bad for her because she can't see that the world is fooling her.
That the world is?
Fooling, pulling the wool over your eyes. Do you have friends and neighbors and relatives
The
who
thing is,
feel for you?
from my whole life, there's nobody here. I'm the only one out of my background.
And your background is still your background. So what about those people's thoughts about Maria?
Well, they are there. They are doing their thing, and I'm here and I'm doing my thing. The family members, they can see I'm happy. They know I'm happy because I tell them. And they don't understand a thing of it, but they accept that this is my choice.
Are they open to Sai Baba? Would they
No.
would they accept an invitation to come and visit what you see?
That I don't know. If Swami himself would invite them, I don't know what they will do.
Why don't you invite them?
Because I feel they're not interested. So I don't push anything. Let them get ready when they have to get ready. If they ever want to be ready. I don't know how that works. No, I don't know Swami's plans.
Well, let's talk about Swami's plans for a while. We know one thing about him. He's told us he's going to be around for another couple of decades. Although when I look at him, he looks pretty fragile to me. You're a nurse. What's going on with his health?
Nothing. That's only the body.
It's only the body.
That grows older like ours. I mean,
It's not
and
going
he
to...
will shake it one day and go and come back. Huh?
Do you ever get to the point where some people are who become so attached to Baba, his form, his body, his trinkets, his darshan, his interviews, that you feel you're missing out on something or that he's keeping you too far away from him? I would feel maybe envy if I saw a lot of closeness with him and he has me back quite a ways from him. How do you
Yeah, I
handle
can
that?
imagine that it hurts.
You never experienced that?
Yeah.
How do you deal with that? Do you get mad at Baba?
Sometimes I can get really mad. But at the same time, I also know it's something in me which comes to the surface, which I have to look at. The reason why I'm here is looking at who I am.
That's the main reason why you're here.
That's the main reason.
Is it the only reason why you're here?
That I don't know if that's the only reason. But it's the biggest reason. Mm-hmm. And that with Swami, I will have the best chance. I found out for myself.
And can you actually feel yourself growing over the years?
No, I don't think so. I think sometimes I'm even worse than before I ever came. I don't know why. I think Swami is making loose so many things which were always hidden before. No? He puts light in there, in me. And because of that light, all the darkness comes to the surface. That's what I think. And I get pretty bad.
I asked you.
And if I dare to look at it, then I don't like myself either. So I have to learn to deal with myself, with all the things I'm getting to know.
I would guess that one of the most important elements of trying to learn who you are is to learn to like yourself. Period. So I'm surprised to hear you say that there might be...
Yeah, but what is there to like if you don't know who it is?
Well, that's a good point.
No, I have to know first who I really am. Slowly it sinks in that I'm not what you see in the camera. That's not me. Mm-hmm. That's the jacket I've gotten on. Mm-hmm. And I think I find it pretty beautiful to get now and again a little glimpse of what's really there.
Do you ever wonder what it's going to be like when you shed the jacket?
Yeah.
Do you think your
He allowed me to see it.
Oh, tell us about that.
The dream, in the beginning I told you, in reality he made me experience that with a near-death experience.
What was that like?
That was beautiful. That was beautiful. Only the days ahead were not beautiful because I didn't feel well. But I only knew something is going to happen, which I don't know, but it feels frightening.
Was your body physically ill at the time?
Yeah, I was very, very overworked.
Lots of stress?
Lots of stress.
Immune system suffering?
Totally. I think I had a real bad burned out syndrome.
And you experienced this near-death experience where you were conscious of being in a different level.
Yeah, I never lost consciousness. Even by going out of the body and realizing I wasn't breathing and the heart had stopped, I could feel myself go out.
Was Baba with you at that time?
I don't know.
How long were you out?
I don't know.
Were you in a hospital or at home in bed?
I was all by myself at home. And I just knew, now I'm dying.
And you knew it wasn't a dream, and you knew it was real?
No, I was wide awake. And I could feel something which I can't call by name. But this something inside the body kind of getting itself detached from the physical frame and comes out here in the top. And I'm going on this travel. And the only thing which I really can recall is I'm this very small little light. And I'm coming to this huge, there's nothing else, only this big light. Which to me represented God or consciousness or love, home, everything, what's important.
And I take it that was a nice experience.
Beautiful, very beautiful. But I kind of agreed. We don't use human words out there because we are not human.
Well, you used a couple of nice human words to describe it that I understand.
You understand it?
A small light being attracted to a big light.
And the most important part was that the essence of my being is of the same quality as that big.
You know that.
That I knew. That came like intuitive to me.
So I have to conclude that you have zero fears about your future. Because you've already been there.
Zero fear. Maybe if I'm not too sick, I don't know. But zero fears for dying, because we don't die.
What do?
We shed the frame.
You stay conscious and take off your coat and go to the next
You
level.
never die. You never get born. You never die. I mean, you're forever there. Eternal.
I'm curious about one component of it. I was talking about this earlier today. Do you think after you take that big heavy coat off and you start traveling towards the bigger light and you're the smaller light, you retain some of your own uniqueness, your personality, your human?
I think not. If I've grown so far that I'm allowed to become part of that big light, I think as an individual I'm finished. That's what it felt like. I was allowed to come over the edge.
And look at it.
But no, and come. But somehow, the big light, and if I have to give it words, no? The big light and myself, this little light, decided I have to go back.
See, words do help. I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
And so you came back.
And I came back, and I hadn't a clue why on earth I had come back. Because coming back in that body, nothing has changed in the earthly reality. I was still very tired, I was still very burnt out, and I was still...
But in your mind, you must have felt elevated,
there
cleansed.
was this knowing of something new.
So, let me ask you again about Sai Baba. He keeps coming to your rescue and guiding you and replenishing and refreshing you.
Yeah.
Who is he?
To me, he's my best friend. And that best friend represents in my life everything I need to grow.
Do you talk to him in your heart or do you talk to him out loud?
Both.
Does he ever answer back?
Always.
With an idea or with words?
With words, with dreams, with a thought which is using words which I would not choose myself.
So there are different words that don't fit your level of vocabulary and you know they're coming from him.
That must be because I'm never using those words myself in my day-to-day.
And do you believe that your intuition, your human's intuition is the voice of Baba? Do you believe as you walk down the street or take a shower and a thought comes into your head about I'll go to work a little late today or a little early, do you think that's all Baba too?
That I don't know. I don't know.
So
if I think if I think of myself on different levels, at the top level it's always, I think, God who is making this move and think and whatever. But on our level here, I will probably every day think it's me who thinks this. No?
And if you couldn't come, if your visa were revoked and you couldn't stay here in India anymore, you couldn't be physically with Baba, what do you think you would do?
Now I know recently has shown me what I can do to be with him always. That's my inner altar. He has shown me where to go and how to open that.
Well, that's very important, and we're almost near the end of this segment, so I want to ask you to be very precise in telling us how you know to do that so that maybe others can learn how to do that.
I think the main thing is to be so still and concentrate on your inner self.
Isn't that impossible?
Sorry?
Isn't that impossible to do, to be that still? How do you slow your mind?
You have to train that every day. It's not something, I think, which comes just blowing with the wind or buying in the shop.
And you've trained yourself to do this?
I think everybody who's serious with Swami has to do something.
And what's your method of doing this, of going to this place of silence? What's your technique?
To concentrate on that in there is a space. And I don't know how I do that. I suddenly just am in that space.
And your thoughts sort of settle down?
Yeah, it becomes very peaceful.
Your blood pressure,
I'm still
your
busy
heartbeat.
though because I want to make that space nice. I'm not quiet sitting yet. That comes after I think, now it's all right, now it's ready for God to come. And then I'll go and sit.
And
that all happens inside somehow.
And where are you when this happens? Are you at home, or are you with Baba? Are you at work?
No, I sit in the morning and the evening in front of his photo.
20 minutes?
I never look at the clock, I don't know.
And this is
normally if I have 2 hours I think, oh nice, I have good time to sit. Huh? then I don't know, I never look at the clock.
And does this feeling always come every time you do this?
No, it depends if I'm quiet enough, or I don't know what the right word is. What do I have to be? I have to have some concentration, a level of concentration, which I don't all the time have. If I'm thinking of the work or not being happy or whatever.
And a last question, if somebody's watching this who is trying to grow close to Jesus and Mary or Buddha or Allah, and they've only gone so far and they haven't been able to go any further, and they see where you are, how could you help them to realize that this is possible for them too, to get what you have?
I think don't give up to train yourself to make contact with the highest in yourself. And that means make time free every day to do that connection to whatever level you feel you're able to, and gradually give yourself the chance to let the God, let that grow. That's what I think happens for all of us.
And no regrets about you working to draw closer to Sai Baba?
None whatsoever.
Thank you, Maria.
You're welcome.